something that, judging by the numbers on our YouTube and some of the comments we got, Christopher, and on Instagram as well, it seems like everybody wanted this. We finally have a new WWE champion, and his name is Drew McIntyre. So what does this mean for you? Because last week we talked about, well, you talked about how much you wanted Drew to get his moment. Now he has it.
Yep.
And
Yeah. This is long overdue, and people forget that the first two title runs that Drew had were in the pandemic with no crowd, so there was no crowd reaction. Number 3 was short lived because Damian Priest cashed in after CM Punk attacked him on the commentary table. So this
yes,
is
I was there.
his true real title run begins today.
Yeah.
With a crowd, and I hope that he just takes the ball and runs with it, because he's such a great heel. He's such a great character. He likes to steal people's trinkets. He stole CM Punk's little wristband. He burned a picture of Dusty and Cody, and now he stole his Rolex. I mean, he's such a great heel. Can't help but just I want him to do heel things with that title, and I'm looking forward to it. Just another reason to watch SmackDown.
Yeah, well, again, we kind of walked into this last week where we were like, WWE has a Cody problem, right? It doesn't have a top guy. And it's funny, like, even though, yeah, a lot of stuff that Drew is doing is very heelish, but people forget that The Rock was a heel and he got over. People forget that Austin was a heel and he got over. So people are behind Drew. Like, even when he was with his feud with Punk, everybody wanted Drew to win, and then he got screwed over. So it's kind of like there is this goodwill that exists within Drew McIntyre's fan base. So I don't know. This could be one of two things rather. It could be a short-term transitional thing, which I really hope it isn't. I'll be honest with you. I don't want Cody to have this belt in a month. Or this could be a career-defining run for Drew, because as you said, he hasn't had that. He hasn't had the opportunity to be the champion in front of a crowd for longer than 5 minutes. And as I said, I was at WrestleMania when that happened. I was very, very happy that happened because, it was a cool angle. But I was also like, kind of wanted Drew to win. You know what I mean? So I think everybody's kind of sitting there where you're like, okay, right now we have Drew McIntyre as champion. And I'm excited. I'm actually, when I saw it, I was just like, whoa, I can't believe they did that. So let's take everyone back here. So we'll set the scene. So this was a 3 stages of hell match again. A match we haven't had in WWE in a while, right? It's been
over a decade.
Yeah, very, very long time. And this was a traditional one as well, obviously capping off with a steel cage, false count anywhere. The question I have for you, Christopher, is do you think this match was rushed? Do you think it should have been on a pay-per-view? Or do you think this was the right time to really set the table going into 2026?
I mean, if they were going to do it on the PLE, it would have to be at the Rumble, and the Rumble already has 2 long matches already with the men's and women's Rumble match. So they could have waited till the weekend of January 24th to do it on a Saturday Night Main Event. But I feel like this match could have been longer. I know that U.S. title match between Carmelo Hayes and Shinsuke Nakamura was a little long. So they could have kind of, took some of that time. But at the end of the day, we got the big reveal, a return at the end, which helped Drew win the title.
Yes.
But I do think, it could have been just a little bit longer. But something that we talk about in the promotion that I'm in here in Texas is that you can do more with less. You don't have to have a 35-minute match to tell a story. You can do a 10-minute match and say everything you got to say.
Yes, no, I agree. I agree with that.
So they said what they wanted to. Said what they wanted to say. We have a new champion, and people forget that Cody Rhodes has a movie coming out in the summer, the new Street Fighter movie. So this was probably like, hey, taking time off, going to do the press tour for the movie. So we're probably not going to see Cody on TV for a while, which
that's very good.
Very happy about.
I didn't even think about that, but I'm also very happy about that. But as I said, it's WWE seemed to have fixed their problem here, because it didn't really look like. So sorry, before we get to it, in this match, the finish came when we had the return. We didn't really know what was going on at the beginning. It was kind of straight to the finish. Looked like Cody was going to win. And then Fatu shows up. And we're like, oh my God, wait, what's going on? And I'll be honest with you, when I saw Jacob run down, I was just like, yeah, Cody's going to win this and it's going to be all for nothing. But no, it didn't. Um, Drew was actually able to escape after Cody kind of did himself out of the match. Did
Yeah.
himself out of the title. Fatu went in and kind of attacked everybody. He went after McIntyre. Cody tried to intervene. And then all of a sudden, Fatu picks up Rhodes, destroys him, and then Drew's able to crawl out. So Drew wasn't hurt by this win, obviously, because he wins and he still looked like, the devilish heel who was able to take advantage of it. Cody wasn't hurt by this because obviously he didn't really lose, even though he did. Um, but it also looks like now you have three different feuds here, right? You have Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes, obviously the return match whenever that's done. Cody Rhodes versus Fatu, and then Drew McIntyre versus Fatu. So we went from a situation last week where we're like, oh my God, what's Cody going to do? This is pretty bad, to three separate feuds that can intersect at some point. And no matter who wins, that gets the rub. Be it Cody again, which they probably won't put the belt on Cody for a while, thankfully. But you have the opportunity to build Drew McIntyre here as a monster heel, or that like tweener where he's still a heel, but through his feud with Fatu, who is a pure out and out heel who's just been introduced into this, um, you have that, and I think that's going to be really interesting. That'll probably carry us through the Rumble into WrestleMania. Now, I don't think they'll feud at WrestleMania for sure, but going into it, that's a really, really cool setup that we haven't actually had. And it seems really fresh. I'll be honest with you, if Cody had won this, I would have been in a foul mood today. Because it's just like, oh, they haven't learned anything. But
No.
another reason that they did this, Christopher, is SmackDown recently went back to 3 hours. So I think they had to justify that it was a show worth watching. And this is a very, very strong show. Look, the Germans are quite serious and not super loud and stuff like that, but they showed up tonight and they were really, really it was a good crowd. They were into
Yeah.
everything that was happening. They weren't up there with the French, obviously, but at the same time, I wasn't expecting the German crowd to be that hot. And it was a really, really good show, as far as everyone was not burned out. And at 3 hours, look, it's a long time. I've been to wrestling shows. I mean, I've been to a bunch of AEW shows, and they go on for 8 hours. And at the end of it, you're like, I fell asleep at one of them because I was like, I can't anymore. So I fell asleep at the main event. The crowd wasn't like that tonight. There was
Yeah, definitely.
everyone there was super into it. I think it was paced really well. As you said, we had the tag team belts changing as well. Um, so yeah, like overall, going forward with WWE, do you think this is the right move, or is there anything that you would have liked to have done differently to set up this win?
No, I think they did it all right. And we some people have forgotten that when Jacob Fatu got taken out, um, they speculated it was Drew McIntyre that did it. So this renews that, that whole like what we had last year with who attacked Jade Cargill freeway thing going on. We kind of rekindled this. Now, do we think Drew did it? Of course, we think he did it. But there's always that little hint that, well, maybe he did. Maybe it was somebody else. Maybe it was Cody. Maybe it was this person. Maybe it was that person.
Yeah,
But this definitely sets up a rivalry with Jacob Fatu going forward. And like you said, it didn't have to be going to the Rumble and to Chamber match and then into WrestleMania. This could be later in the summer, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam type of thing.
yeah,
But they
absolutely.
definitely are planting the seeds for something, and I hope it's incredible what they're going to do with it.
It definitely seems fresh. It's long term storytelling in a sense for sure, but it's more like, well, we haven't seen these guys really go for it. If it is Drew and Fatu, we haven't really, like, that's a complete shake up of the main card. The top of the card. It's not the same thing that we've got for the past 2 or 3 years. And look, Drew is great, and he always has been, even when he was in 3MB, when he was over, came back initially as Drew McIntyre, not Drew McIntyre, can't remember Drew Galloway in
Oh
TNA,
yeah,
and then when he came back, like I was there the day that he debuted that character in TNA, and it's like this guy's a star, and little by little he has put in all the work to earn that. And I think now this is going to be